to NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson, we're back for another week, and we got good JUCO stuff again this week,
Yes.
especially in our hot seat. Kenya, who do we have today coming on our hot seat?
I told y'all last week, we had a big surprise for you guys. This week in the hot seat, we have the opportunity to talk to Coach Gary Blair, formerly the head coach, Hall of Famer of Texas A&M University, along with Danielle Williams, who was a two-time All-American in the junior college ranks before she headed to play for Coach Blair. So get ready. It's going to be a great show. We got lots of things to talk about, but we are definitely excited about having those two on our show.
I agree. Danielle Adams, great memories of Danielle when she played at Jefferson College. What a dominant player in JUCO, a two-time All-American in JUCO that carried it on to Texas A&M. And what can you say about Gary Blair? Gary Blair is he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, what else can you say? You know, he's part of the fabric of what we're dealing with here. This JUCO Division I basketball. He was kind of like the fuse that lit this basketball craze in women's basketball. What, 10, 12, 13 years ago? Danielle Adams had a lot to do with that, you know.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to hearing from both of them. But before we get going, our weekly kind of like segment that we start up with, we have a rewind. Why don't you go over the winners and losers for the week?
Yes.
And see who's struggling, who's on top, and where are we going? Go ahead.
Well, we had a pretty interesting week. All these teams, remained in their top spot, and they were 1-0 for the week. So Barton County took care of business. Casper, they went 1-0. We had Three Rivers, Shelton State, Pearl River, Wabash, Collin, Northwest Florida State, and Hutch. They all went undefeated this week. Also, our number one spot remained the same. Gulf Coast is hanging on. They had a game with Chipola, right? They had Chipola last week, I believe. Got it done, took care of business. So they're still rolling, and they didn't fall for the trap game. We were worried about that. We were worried about that trap. But they did a great job this week in staying focused and moving on. We also had some people that fell off this week. Like we just talked about Chipola. They went 0-2, and they fell out of the rankings. They're still receiving some votes, but they fell out.
They've been in the top 25 the whole way until now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what happens when you play in the Panhandle 3 times in a row. You got a 3-time cycle,
Seriously. Eastern Arizona lost 2. They lost 2 at home. They lost 2 games at home to Cochise and fell down to 18, but still hanging in there. Temple went 1-1. Western Nebraska lost to Ontario. And then, Butler County went 1-1 for the week and fell to spot 21. TVCC, they fell. They lost this week. So, like we said, it's just going to start jumbling up.
Well, like we had mentioned before, the parity is ever more present than now. I mean, it's really going to be a tight race down the stretch in each region, not alone the national tournament. So
absolutely,
you got Chipola that fell out, goes 0-2. It ain't going away. I mean, they had hoped that they were going to beat Pensacola, and that didn't happen. So they're kind of in a dogfight for third. And Cochise goes at Eastern Arizona. Now, Cochise had been in the poll for most of the year so far, and fallen out early. Now they're back in. Eastern Arizona had been in the poll and still are, but took 2 losses in a row like they do. They put back-to-back stuff there in Arizona. So you know, the Division II has pretty much remained intact, but our champion from last year, Essex out of Baltimore, they took a hit against Harcum, so they
Big
fell
hit.
out of the top five.
Mhm.
And but the top four remained the same. And then you have Mesa, Arizona moved into five, and then Harcum out of Philadelphia, they moved into six. So there's a little juggling going on there outside of the top four for the Division II. And but yeah, I mean, this pressure cooker of basketball in Kansas, Texas, Florida, Arizona. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not for the faint. Like you got to be prepared as a coach, and you don't have a lot of time, and you can't show all your cards too because you're playing some people back to back days. So you really got to be on your game, and the players themselves too got to be in the same position. They got to be ready to rock.
Yep.
So, um, anyway, that's our rewind for the week. When we come back, we're going to talk our upload for the upcoming week. Right after this, we'll be back with NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back. NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya, you ready for upload?
Let's see what we got coming.
Okay. I mean, we've got good games again. Like, you'd think sometimes we're going to have a little bit of an off week, maybe. This thing is rocking. So we've got Butler County. They're number 21 this week. They're going to be playing at Barton County. It'll be a toss-up. Barton's receiving votes. We've got we're going to have a rematch, by the way, of number 1 Gulf Coast. Now they got to go to Niceville. They got to play number 3 Northwest Florida State the end of the week. So round 2 on that. We'll see how that plays out. Because really Northwest kind of struggled with Chipola, even though they beat Chipola. It was less than 10. And so they haven't been maybe playing their best basketball, or I don't know. Maybe he's got a rabbit up his sleeve or something going on there in Niceville, but we're going to find out. But Gulf Coast goes over to play Chipola coming up as well this week. 2 teams that we've talked about before too, Salt Lake. They're number 20 this week. They're going to go
back.
Utah State Eastern, who's right behind them at 24.
Yep.
And they played earlier in the year. Salt Lake had won. So here we go again. And one of the very interesting games, I think, of all these games this week, Pearl River has moved up to number 7 in the poll. And we've talked about Pearl River with their overall balance of their team. Well, they're going to play Mississippi Gulf Coast at Gulf Coast. Let's not get confused. It's not the Panama City Gulf Coast. It's the Mississippi Gulf Coast. But nonetheless, they've got a nice team. This will be athlete on athlete, pressure. That'll be a good game to watch if you're a fan.
Yes.
So we'll see how that plays out. And again, there's going to be a couple of teams there that may make it to Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah.
And that's my guess.
I remember in our very first show of the season, we talked about Pearl River, and we
Yeah.
talked about they may take some lumps early on while they get that system figured out, but they were going to slowly climb their way up, and that's what they're doing. I'm excited to see what happens with that game.
Yeah, so am I. We talked about New Mexico last week, just kind of like hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
Really talk about that much, like they've got good players and all that. They're number 5 this week, and they're going to play at South Plains. And South Plains, they've not had the best year. That they're not having a South Plains year, but they've got some South Plains talent.
Absolutely.
They can put it together, and so it'll be an interesting, follow up on that game here for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Two unranked opponents, but nonetheless still a good game. Angelina's at Kilgore, and Kilgore's been making some noise.
Yeah, they just beat the Valley. Yep.
They beat Trinity Valley for the first time, and I can't remember when.
Long time.
Yeah, much so. And then you've got Trinity Valley with a rematch of Blinn. And Blinn had beat them before, and now you got to go down to Blinn and play at Blinn. So
not an easy
Trinity
trip.
Valley's number 13 this week. They've got their hands full.
Hey, they're gonna have to get some bounce back because Kilgore is that's a tough game. I mean, like I said last week, all these games within the conference, whether teams are ranked or whether they're not, they are very, very tough games. You have coaches that have been coaching against each other forever. They know each other inside and out. Yep. And it's just it's tough. It's tough. And so going down to Blinn, in my opinion, that is always a very, very difficult game. There's no easy way to get there. The gym is small. Everybody's right on top of you. So they better be ready to play, have some bounce back. Yeah, they get ran out of the gym if we're not careful.
Then we've got Eastern Arizona going over. We haven't talked about Central Arizona. They've had a couple of coaching changes over the last couple of years. A former powerhouse program, multiple national champion at Central Arizona. Not the same team as we'd once seen and dominant, but nonetheless, number 18 Eastern Arizona's got to go play them this week twice. And so we'll see if they have a bounce back from the 0-2 week that they've had. And I'm sure that, Eastern, I mean, they're well coached. She got players, and she's got some work to do that she knows that she'll get it done. So that'll be an interesting game coming up. When we come back, we've got Gary Blair, the Hall of Famer, and Danielle Adams, another superstar among the JUCO ranks, the NCAA Division I ranks, and professional ranks. We've got them on the hot seat when we come back to NJCAA Hot Hoops.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Welcome back to NJCAA Hot Hoops. And man, do we have the star power today, Kenya. We have with us a Hall of Fame coach in Mr. Gary Blair, Texas A&M, and one of his prize players that's got a lot of star power in herself, and Danielle Adams, a JUCO product to the core. Thanks for both of you being here today on the hot seat.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here, and we just got finished having our reunion weekend, so I got a chance to see a lot of Danielle's players and a lot of players that played in the 70s and 80s and 90s and on forward, that a lot of them came from the junior college sector.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. 28 years as a head coach, 852, I think, wins, Coach Blair. In a Hall of Fame induction. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But along the way, you had players like Danielle Adams. I mean, I think the two of you really kind of were a catalyst to where the game has gone today. And I mean, it's exploded in popularity. And those magical moments that you had during that NCAA tournament, it seems like not so long ago, but it is long ago, was so impactful. And it's all about the JUCO part, you know, that we started it with. And we know from the many times that I've been in, you know, different national tournament events, Coach Blair, you've always pop in and you know, game over, you know, you get what you needed. And those are some great memories, you know. So Kenya, why don't you take it from here, and we'll run with this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's just a huge honor to have two of the greats of women's basketball, and you know, of course, JUCO women's basketball with Danielle. And again, we're just so excited to have you guys, Danielle. So will you just tell us a little bit of your background, where you played junior college basketball, where you ended up playing in Division I, and then where that has taken you up until this point?
Well, I played JUCO basketball at Jefferson College in Hillsborough, Missouri. It's like 45 minutes south of St. Louis. I ended up playing my Division I basketball career at Texas A&M University. 2 years with Coach Blair, and it's been nothing but a blessing.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? What are you up to now?
Right now, I'm currently in Turkey playing overseas. I've been here since November.
Okay.
Team's doing pretty well, so I can't complain.
Yeah. What team are you on?
I play for a city in Mersin. They called Chukarova.
Okay. I played for Fenerbahce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Back in the day. Okay. Well,
Danielle, why don't you tell them why everybody had to go to Turkey that was in Israel?
Oh.
Tell them about the connection that moved a lot of y'all to different places now.
Well, of course, October 7th, a really bad war popped off with the city of Gaza, the Hamas. They came over, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and just started murdering people south of Israel. And it just turned into a whole big war. I was there for 3 days of that war. Could barely get out, could barely catch a flight. Finally got out. Couldn't bring out my stuff, but it was just a horrific event.
I'll say.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, we're glad you made it.
Yes, we are.
Me too.
We are. So Danielle, talk about your JUCO experience. Talk about your time at Jefferson, and then, tie a little bit into your time there and how that was beneficial to you as you reopen basically your recruiting world all over again, and then got the opportunity to play at Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, at first I had committed to University of Missouri coming out of high school. But I felt like that wasn't good enough for me, so I went the JUCO route. Spent 2 years at Jefferson, which was amazing. Played with some childhood friends that I grew up playing AAU ball with. It's like 4 hours from my hometown in Kansas City. So it was a perfect situation for me, just playing with them and just being that close to home. But JUCO was amazing for me. It taught me like how to balance ball and college classes, which was tough, but it got me prepared for A&M.
Yeah.
A&M was an easy choice for me. I took my visit there, felt like family, felt comfortable, and I felt like it would maybe get better, which it did. So I mean,
Yeah.
great choice for me.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about you said, Jefferson, it was a good transition for you because, I mean, like I played high school ball, I played JUCO ball, I went to the University of Texas. That's, we were in the same conference and we'll be again now. That's all still so very weird to me. But I just remember getting to Texas, and while it did feel like family, it was family, but my JUCO experience was just something completely different. It was just a different level. It was a different level of growth. It was a different level of closeness. It was just, I mean, it was like we were all just trying to survive, right? We were just
Definitely.
Yeah. So how was your experience at Jefferson?
My experience it was great. It was a small little city, not much to do. So all you can do is focus on your sport and school. So I mean, it was a great fit for me. I really took it in and focused on my classwork as well as basketball. And we had a great team that 2 years I was there. So it was really, really good experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenya, a two-time JUCO All-American, by the way.
Absolutely.
WBCA JUCO Player of the Year in 2009.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she had it going on out there. She was a powerhouse.
She did. No question. Coach Blair, so talk to us about your process. We know that, you have a rich history in recruiting junior college. We know you're not like some of the typical Division I's that I jump on my soapbox about that like to come in the last minute and swoop up JUCO players, but you know the value of JUCO players and the value of JUCO women's basketball in general. So talk to us about just the process of you seeing Danielle and what you thought she could do and how she could help A&M do the big things that y'all did while she was there.
Well, first I have to go all the way back to Dallas South Oak Cliff where I started. And I'm part of Title IX. So 73, 74 in the large cities, that's when women's basketball. And actually my first very good player, an all-state player, Sharon Shelton, went to Henderson Junior College, which is Trinity Valley. And she's a very good player. And then she went on to play for North Texas. It's still in a lot of the books, but junior college in the 70s and 80s. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Tyler, about Kilgore, and about Trinity Valley and all those schools. And then you throw in Angelina and Paris, and then you go out in West Texas, and you got Midland, Odessa, and Howard and South Plains, just great players. Now, besides Stephen F. Austin, University of Texas, a little bit of Texas Tech and Louisiana Tech and LSU, the junior college programs were better than a lot of these Southland Conference schools that are now. I mean, they were so loaded because you had to have the grades, but I promise you, you didn't want to go play one of those junior college teams. They were that good with the talent, both in the men and the women. Now, where Danielle first started me with my first junior college All-American was Portia Hill with Stephen F. Austin. There was no WNBA when she got out, and she had to play overseas for 5 years. And has done very well, got kids. She's in Palestine, used a criminal justice degree, but she was the National Junior College Player of the Year. And then she made Kodak All-American, which I think they call them State Farm now. Then when I got to, then I had a Moselle Brooks from Angelina Junior College, a great player as well. Then I got to Arkansas, and Camara Stansel from Connors Junior College that helped take us to the Final Four in '98. We were the Cinderella team. That was the year that number one, Stanford got beat by Harvard. And then we beat Hawaii and Harvard, and then we kept rolling to the Final Four. The junior college players felt needed. They felt like, okay, so maybe I didn't pay as much attention to my grades in the 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. And so I had to work. But now the tutoring is so much better, and the kids are getting a chance to go to Division I now. But they're still, the junior colleges are very good.
Mhm.
That's why I'm wearing this ring on my finger, because of Daniel Adams right there. And correct me, y'all do the homework. Is she the only junior college All-American that was also the player of the year when we won the national championship in 2011? Her banner is hanging in our arena for her All-American status.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure, and you'll have to do the homework because you've got the research. She might be the only one that was most valuable player in the national tournament as well.
I like it.
impressive.
Very impressive. Very impressive. Coach, that's a lot of good history right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of
I
good
am-
stuff.
I am history at 78. I've been through it, but I almost shot my age today, but I shouldn't have voted at 18 today. But here's another thing I'll tell you about Danielle that a lot of people, she was recruited a bunch at the time. Kelsey Bone was on our team, and she chose to go to South Carolina first. And that's
I
where
remember
she,
that.
and we went to the JUCO ranks and went after the best in the country. And it was actually, I watched him last night on TV. It was really between Louisville and us
Yep.
with Jeff Walsh.
Mhm.
But she told me something. She says, everybody has told me what I can't do. I want to show you what I can do. And let's just say she was the Charles Barkley of women's basketball, because she came in and could run the floor and had the best feet and the best hands of any player I've ever coached. Feet and hands for a 6'1" post player. And she's what drove the engine, and I had good people surrounding her.
Oh, yeah.
But when you say you can't do it, and everybody said, no, you can't do it, you're a JUCO player, you can't run the floor that fast, bullcorn. That's why she's still playing at 33 or 34 years old and averaging a double-double every place she goes.
Right. That's right.
One of the most feathery jump shots I've ever seen. I don't care if it's in 5 feet off the glass or if it's deep. It's pretty. It's so smooth.
I
And
appreciate that.
enjoy watching you play. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
the Kansas City Keys, you know, back when you
Mhm.
played in travel ball, all the way up through with you know, you playing now in your WNBA career, where you were a rookie of the year, I think, in the league, weren't you?
I came in second. I had got hurt like the last month of the season, and came in second place to Maya Moore.
A nice second. It's a nice
Yeah.
second.
Here's a little sidebar on that national championship game. Of course, we beat 5 Hall of Fame coaches that were already in the Hall of Fame to get there. And that's Vivian Stringer, that's Andy Landers, and that's Kim Mulkey, and that's Tara Vanderveer, and that's Muffet McGraw. I enjoy that because I respect all of their programs because they had done it before us. Well, we get to the championship game. We were down 10 with 5 to go against Stanford and came back and won that ball game.
Mhm.
But in the championship game, we're down 4 to Stanford at half. 4 to Notre Dame at half. ESPN comes in and says, we want to see your adjustments to talk. I said, give me 4 minutes before I let anybody in. So I went in and pointed my finger at Colson and pointed my finger at Danielle Adams. And I told Sydney, get the damn ball inside to Danielle. Danielle, quit shooting a trailing 3 right now. We need you to wear out Devereaux Peters inside. She scored 22 in the second half, and we ended up winning the ball game by 5 or 6. But that was before I let ESPN in.
Yeah.
And then you will love this. To this day, blue, green, and gold confetti came down when we won the national championship. Notre Dame's colors. Notre Dame's colors, and we have never received a word from the NCAA on what happened. Now, if Gino would have been playing Notre Dame and those colors would have come down, that would have been like Trump and Biden. And there would have been something going on, but we were just so happy to win it, and everybody was doing snowflakes. But it was just a great time and a great program. And it was good for women's basketball at the time.
Absolutely. I remember when you guys won that championship. I remember because, Kelly Bond was just so respected by all of us Division I coaches, especially the ones that spent so much time recruiting, like she did, as well as coaching. And when y'all won that national championship, we all felt like we won. It was just like, we all had so much respect for what you guys did and the way you did it. And even, me being a JUCO person, just y'all going out and getting JUCO players and having that opportunity, like it was just off the charts, such a great experience. And I remember that big time. Okay, so Danielle, I want to ask you another question. Typically, sometimes, when maybe not so much as now, but I know, back then, like when I went JUCO, it was like, oh man, you got to go JUCO, and it was such a negative connotation to it, right?
Yeah.
But I have told so many people, had it not been for JUCO, there is no way I would have, number one, been ready to play basketball at the University of Texas. Number two, been prepared for life. And number three, JUCO made me, JUCO literally made me a dog. Like after I survived 2 years playing for Kurt Budke in Athens, Texas, eating that cafeteria food and running those hills, and there was no time limit on the amount of time that we got to practice, right? Like if I could survive that, I could survive anything. And so when I got to Texas, like that was cake. Like, it was hard work, but it was just a different level. Have you noticed like the negative connotation kind of shifting when you hear about JUCO women's basketball?
Yeah, I definitely do. A lot of people talk bad about JUCO, but JUCO gets you actually prepared for the next level, in my opinion. I have girls that hit me up to this day asking, how was JUCO? How did you like JUCO? How did it prepare you? And I give them my honest opinion. So, I see it shifting, but I hate that people have that misconception of JUCO basketball. Because it's actually good. It actually gets you ready. It actually gets you prepared for the next level for Division I basketball.
I agree.
Well said.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Kenya, let me give you a little bit of history also. In '98, when we were Cinderella and got to the Final Four, my staff was Vic Schaefer, and Sue Donahoe had already helped us, and she'd already gone to the NCAA by then. But Trina Tillis Jones was my assistant coach at the time, and she was All-American for us at Stephen F. Austin for 4 years. But Trina has won a couple of national championships at Tyler Junior College, done very well. On this last staff that we had when we won it, of course, Vic Schaefer is doing a great job at Texas, and he could be a Final Four team this year, even without his point guard, who is very good, the best.
Mhm.
And then I got Kelly Bond at Southern Illinois, is now a head coach. But I've got Johnny Harris, who also was a junior college coach at Westar,
Yep.
behind Lewis Horton. And she was the one that brought us another Kansas City, Missouri kid, Tanisha Smith, to
Mhm.
A&M. So there's been so many coaches in my life that have helped me become who I am. You surround yourself, and it has nothing to do with basketball, but if I would have been smarter, instead of going to Texas Tech as a walk-on baseball player, I should have went to junior college first and handled my academics. And then maybe I wouldn't have flunked out of architecture after my first year. I should have went to JUCO to get my academics straight and then finished up at Texas Tech.
Well, you still made it, Coach.
You're magic, man. I could talk to you all day about stories. You're the best.
Yeah.
I love listening
Really
to
is,
what
yeah.
you have to say.
Surround yourself with good people, and that's what
Absolutely.
you do. And the JUCOs have basically helped make my career at the highest level. So every championship that we've had at Stephen F. Austin, Arkansas, and at Texas A&M has been helped by the junior college, not just athlete, the junior college player, the junior college person, the
Yep.
living rooms that we set in. When Rick Moody at Alabama had Shalonda Ennis, we had signed her at Stephen F., but she didn't have the grades, and I took the Arkansas job. And the other kid that followed her from Trinity Valley played at Alabama also. They went to
Boo
the Final.
Barnes.
Yes. And even Tennessee has recruited a few JUCOs lately at point guard position that have been very good.
Mhm.
So don't give up that dream if you can't make it or you were not an honor student, because I was not as a high school student or as a college student. But there's a way that you can make it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Much respect, Coach. Much respect. Seriously. And
Well said.
appreciation for you. Yeah. All right. Well, Danielle, I know you got practice in the morning. There's a pretty big time difference what you got going on over there. But again, just thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy time as a professional athlete, and just continuing to support the game, and just everything that you have done for women's basketball. We notice it and we see it and we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad this is going on. I hope more players can come on and give their story and background.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks,
Coach, we
both of you.
appreciate you too. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thanks both of you for coming on. The coach, Gary Blair, Danielle Adams. Thanks for being on NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Keep
You
spreading
too.
the word. Everybody's listening. Keep spreading that word.
Great to see both of you guys.
Thank you.
Great to see you too.
Thanks for being on.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back with NJCAA Hot Hoops. Our closing segment, Kenya, we've had a great show today. I mean,
Yes.
anytime you have really a Hall of Fame coach, I mean, I'm kicking myself. You know, this guy, Gary Blair, an instrumental factor in the growth of the game itself, but what an impact Gary has made on junior college women's basketball. And Danielle Adams taking the reins and running right with him. I mean, you're talking about two of the great names in JUCO basketball history here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? One thing I really love about Gary Blair, and I always have, is that he truly has a passion for his players, and he truly has a passion for the game of women's basketball. I mean, think about his diversity in his coaching career. Like he talked about going all the way back to South Oak Cliff,
Yeah.
in Dallas, and then we got Arkansas. I mean, he's all over the map, and that has so much to do with his success that he had as a basketball coach, and being a Hall of Famer.
A genuinely quality individual, never a different Gary Blair. You get the same
Absolutely.
Gary Blair every time you meet him, and has just, he opens his arms up to you. If there's something you need, I mean, he'll do it. In the coaching
Absolutely.
tree that he has, that's
Mhm.
evident. That's evident.
Mhm.
He's got some powerhouse people behind him.
Yep.
And I can't say enough about my friendship with him over the years. I mean, it's made me a better person just to get to know him. And,
Yeah.
but of all the players that I've probably watched throughout, middle school, all the way up through into travel ball and into JUCO, Danielle Adams has like resonated in my mind as one of the greats that I've ever watched.
Absolutely.
I mean, you wouldn't think it, but man, does she produce the goods. I mean, and at a high level,
Yeah.
and she's got some hardware to prove it, and she's making money professionally. It's something that she loves.
Yeah. Danielle, in my opinion, she just totally breaks the mold. I mean, she plays the game of basketball at a very high level, and it may not appear to some people that that she is capable of doing the things that she does day in and day out. But she has made herself into a very, very high level professional athlete. And I just remember one of the things that she said was, I committed to Missouri, but I did not think that was good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's exactly what we talk about all the time. Junior college gives you another opportunity to recreate the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that is what she did. It wasn't good enough for her, so she wanted to get some more work in, and she ends up at Texas A&M and wins a national championship.
Yeah.
Can we write it better?
Yeah, no. Can't write you can't re-script it better.
No. And so, hats off to her, big time. I'm just so proud of her, and I've just watched her grow over so many years, and even tried my hand at recruiting her, but she picked the right place.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for her to be our first junior college player that has been on our show.
Yeah, I am too. That was great. So, all right, let's wrap it up, Kenya. Anything else?
No, thank you guys for tuning in. If there are some individuals that you guys would like to see on our show, if you have some junior college players or coaches that you think would be beneficial for our show, feel free to drop that information in our Twitter box. You can catch it at NJCAA Network, or you can text, or you can inbox my Twitter or Dan's as well. And we will definitely hear you out.